The teachings of Rabbi Ephraim Sprecher, Dean of Students at Diaspora Yeshiva on Mount Zion, Jerusalem.
Okay, today we'll be speaking about Nakama, revenge. When is it kosher and when is it not kosher, okay? Okay. First of all, there's a law in the Torah, there's a law in the Torah that not to take Nakama. Lo ninkom. Lo tikom lo shita b'nei amecha. So the Sefer HaChinuch in Mitzvah Reish Mem Aleph says, Lo ninkom, you're not allowed to take Nakama mi Yisrael. It's forbidden to take revenge against a fellow Jew. He says a fellow Jew. Kigon Yisrael, for instance, a Jew that did something terrible to you, mitzaya you, he did something bad. V'noeg rov b'nei adam sheba'olam shelo yosu mechapes akve misha harlen. The way of the world is someone does something bad to you, you will not rest until what? You pay him back. And hurt him the way he hurt you. And that's exactly what God forbid the Jewish people. Lo tikom. Lo tikom, not allowed to take revenge. And you're not allowed to bear a grudge. Why is that? The guy did something terrible to me. Why can't I get back at him? It's the most human, natural feeling in the world, right? To do unto others, that's do what? So the Chinuch says something amazing in Mitzvah Reish Mem Aleph. He says, Misharshe ha-mitzvah. What is the root of the mitzvah? Why it's forbidden to take revenge? Sheyeda adam yiten el libo. A person has to take it in his heart and really know that whatever happens to a person, whether it's tov or ra, hu siba shetovei olav me'es Hashem baruch hu. Whatever happens to a person, he has a good day or a bad day, it all comes from Hashem. Umiyad adam umiyad ish achiv lo yeh dover bilti rotzon Hashem baruch hu. No one can harm a hair on your head unless what? God allowed it. Lo yeh dover bilti rotzon Hashem baruch hu. It can only happen, someone does something bad to you, only because God willed it. Al kain, therefore, kishatzereyu yachveyu adam, when someone causes you pain and anguish, yeda benafsho, you have to know in your soul, ki avonotav garmu, your sins caused that to happen to you. Vashem yisbarach goza bekach, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu decreed it. V'lo yoshiv machshavosa linkai mimenu, and therefore it doesn't make sense to take revenge. Ki hu eino sibat ra'oto, the guy that did you harm, he's only a UPS driver, a messenger. Shoot the messenger. So what is the cause of your tzarot? Ki avon hu masabeb. It's the sin that caused you the suffering, and this guy who's doing you harm, he is what? A messenger. How do we know that? U'kamosh shama David olav hashalom. Hanichi lo v'yikalel ki omer lo Hashem. When King David was running away from his son, Avshalom made a civil war, right? And he was running out of the palace. Shimi ben Gera began to curse the king. Shimi ben Gera is a relative of Shaul HaMelech. And he began to curse the king. It's good for you. You're getting what you deserved. And King David's bodyguard wanted to make him a head shorter. Cursing the king is a capital offense. Right? Give him a bad hair day, close shave. What did King David say in the book of Samuel? Hanichulo. What does that mean? Leave him alone. V'yikalel. Ki omer lo Hashem. God told Shimi ben Gera to curse King David. Shimi ben Gera is not a Navi, and God never spoke to him. So what does he say? Leave him alone. He told his bodyguard, leave him alone. V'yikalel. Ki omer lo Hashem. Tolo inyan becheto v'lo b'shimi ben Gera. King David is saying that what? That whatever happens is what? It's all from Hashem. If this guy is cursing, that means that he undeserved it. Whatever sin I did with Bathsheba, or other sins that he had, Tola inyan becheto, v'lo b'shimi ben Gera. You hear? He was mavater. Because whatever happens to a person, it only happens to him because what? Hashem willed it or allowed it. And therefore, he didn't blame Shimi ben Gera. He was mevater. And the Zohar says that when did King David become the regular Revi of the Merkava Avram? You know, a Merkava, the divine chariot, has 4 wheels. Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, they are the 3 wheel. Who's the 4th wheel of the Merkava? David. When did he become the 4th wheel? At this point. When he was mevater, and he didn't allow Shimi Megera to be punished, he said, Hanicholo Yikalel. The Zohar says that's when he became the regular Revi of the Meiser Merkava. You hear? So, again, there's a lav not to take Nekama against a fellow Jew. What about someone who's not Jewish? So we'll have to talk about that. Okay?
Rabbi?
Yes?
I agree 100%. I've heard some of that before. About the Jew, I understand this, and the non-Jew you'll talk about.
We'll talk about.
Ask a question.
Can we talk?
That question is,
Yeah.
okay, we're not supposed to take Nekama. Well, what about, why is the person allowed, though? He's doing what Hashem wanted, but he doesn't have to be the shliach.
Exactly. That's why he'll be punished. Shimi ben Gera is going to be punished.
Right.
Mishamayim, because he's a free agent.
Right.
He didn't have to be the UPS driver. Harbe shluchim lamakim. God has many drivers. You don't want the job. You don't have to take it. You have free will. But whatever happens to a person, no one can harm a hair on your head unless God ordained it. The person that did you harm, he's a free agent. He didn't have to be the UPS driver. He'll be punished. But you should not take, he'll be punished by the court or by Bezin Shalmala, Bezin Shalmata, but you cannot be a vigilante. Right? But again, the lav is against the Kama mi Yisrael. Kigan Yisrael that did you harm. What about a non-Jew? Now we have to talk about it. In this week's Parsha, Parshas Matot, Perek Lamed Aleph, God tells Moshe, draft Anoshim Latzava, Nikol Nikmat B'nei Yisrael. In this week's Parsha, God says, draft a tzava and take revenge for spilled Jewish blood. So God says, Nikmas B'nei Yisrael. Take revenge against the Hamas for all the Jewish blood that they spilled. Parsha of the week always speaks to what? Current events. When Moshe reports this report of God to the IDF, he says, Nikmat Hashem. It's revenge for God. So Rashi wonders. God said, take Nekama from Hamas for spilled Jewish blood. Moshe changes God's words and says, no, it's revenge for what? Hashem. So why is he changing God's instructions, Abraham? Why? So Rashi says, no, he's not changing God's instructions. Sha'omed keneged Yisrael, ki'ilu omed neged HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Anyone that raises a hand against a Jew, harms a Jew, he is raising his hand against God Almighty. So it's the same thing. Nikmas Hashem is Nikmas what? Nikmas Yisrael. And Nikmas Yisrael is also Nikmas Hashem. It's one and the same. So, against non-Jews, you're permitted to take revenge. But who is permitted to take revenge? L'tzava, Anoshim l'nekom, Nikmas B'nei Yisrael. God is speaking to Anshe Tzava. No vigilante. It's up to the army to take revenge. Rashi says, Anoshim l'tzava, says Rashi, tzadikim. Anyone who joins the IDF, Rashi says he's a tzadik. Yeah. This week's Parsha, take a look at Parshas Matos, Perek Lamed Aleph, Pasuk Bet. God says, take Anoshim l'tzava, to take revenge for spilled Jewish blood. Says Rashi, Anoshim l'tzava, tzadikim. Anyone who fights in the IDF is automatically what? A tzaddik. This week's Parsha, Avram. Kawinky dinky? No, this week's Parsha. So anyway, the Torah says that against a non-Jew you're allowed to take revenge, but it can't be private. It has to be dafket tzava. The army. This week's Parsha, Matos Perek Lamed Aleph. There's a pasuk in Tilim, Nun Ches, Yismach Tzadik. A tzaddik rejoices, ki chaza nakam, when he sees what? revenge. Does it say that tzaddik rejoices when he does revenge? Rivka, no. Tillim 58. Yismach tzaddik, the tzaddik rejoices, ki chazanakam. When he sees the IDF do revenge, then the tzaddik rejoices. Isn't that amazing? How meduyak in a pasuk, Rivka. The tzaddik rejoices when he sees the IDF do revenge, not when he does revenge himself. You are not allowed to take personal revenge. Dafke anashim letzava. This week's parsha, God is speaking anashim letzava nikom nikmas b'nei Yisrael. But no private revenge is also, yes? It's tzaddik. Anashim letzava. No, but the command is to the tzava, not a private person. The command is letzava, right? Anashim letzava. They have to take the Kohen Niklas B'nai Yisrael. So Tillim 58 says that Yismach Tzaddik Ki Chazon Nakom. The Tzaddik rejoices when he sees that revenge is taken, but there is no private revenge allowed. That's against the Torah. This week's Parsha says so.
Why can't you say it this way?
What?
The Tzaddik sees revenge.
Yeah.
He's not doing the revenge. Okay?
It's the tzava's doing the revenge. So we rejoice when the IDF is taking revenge for spilled Jewish blood.
He is
Right?
in the IDF because he is a tzaddik.
Right.
When he does the revenge, he's not taking pleasure. He sees that a Kodesh Baruch Hu did the event.
But only in the tzava, not privately. No vigilantism. But I'm going to show you something that even sometimes it's permitted to take revenge and bear a grudge privately, even to a fellow Jew, Sharona. We just got saying that what? There's a law in the Torah that you cannot take revenge against a fellow Jew. And against a non-Jew, it has to be only the army. I'm going to show you an amazing case here, seeing is believing, that sometimes you're permitted to take revenge, personal revenge, and bear a grudge, even against a fellow Jew. Stay tuned. Do you mind giving out these papers? They say seeing is believing.
While that's being passed out.
What?
While that's being passed out on bearing a grudge, I thought in Leviticus it tells us directly not to bear a grudge.
Okay, stay tuned.
Right, so we're going to
Lo sikoin v'lo sito b'nei amecha. It says you're not permitted to take a revenge and bear a grudge against a fellow Jew. That's what it says in Kedoshim. But I'll show you an amazing Gemara that'll make your hair stand up. Okay? You have a good hair day. It's one paper with two sides. Seeing is believing. The papers are going around. Can you just pass them around? It's one paper with two sides. One to a customer. We all got one? One paper with two sides. Let's take a look at the side that says, when is revenge? Reuven, you have that? Yes. When is revenge and bearing a grudge halachically okay? You see that? Sounds shocking, Avram. No? You got that? You have it? Which page is it? It's one paper, and it says 23A1. When is revenge, on top of the page, when is revenge and bearing a grudge, thank you, Sharona, when is revenge and bearing a grudge halachically okay? Hello? This is Tractate Yuma, page 23. The Talmud says that any Talmud Chacham she'eina nokem v'noter kenachash, any Talmud Chacham that does not take revenge or bear a grudge like a snake. When was the last time you saw a snake bear a grudge? Help! But this is what it says, no? Reuven. Any Talmud Chacham that does not take revenge, v'noter kenachash, ain't no Talmud Chacham. He is not what? A Talmud Chacham. Now, when's the last time you saw a snake take revenge? Okay? So we'll have to remind me to get back to that if I forget. Here's a number one. Okay, number one. Netira means what? Keeping a grudge, right? Keeping hatred in your heart that someone did you something dirty. Like a snake. But I don't think a snake is, what? Huh? Such is the nature of the snake. You see footnote 1? And you, the snake, will bear a grudge against the human being.
Maybe because of what they did.
Okay.
Became what he
But a snake is not human. A snake has... We'll get back. Please remind me to get back to it. Please.
Animal psychiatrists now.
Oh, really? Now, wait a minute. The Gemara objects, Reuven, your question. See, the Gemara objects? V'ksiv lo shiklam v'lo shitor. Right? Wait a minute. It says in Leviticus 19, you shall not what? Take revenge or bear a grudge. So how can the Talmud say that a Talmud Chacham is required to what? Bear a grudge and a revenge. It's against the Torah. So the Gemara answers, listen to this, Hai b'mamoin dichsiv. The prohibition against bearing a grudge and taking revenge is only with regard to monetary matters. What? The Tanya, as we learned in the Braisa, Eizeh Nikima, what's called taking revenge and what is called bearing a grudge. Nikima, what's Nikima? Guy says to his neighbor, lend me your lawnmower. Right? I'm a low lav. The guy says, no, I'm not going to lend you my lawnmower. I don't like you. Lamacha, the next day, the guy comes and he says, lend me your what? Your hatchet. Or your toaster oven. What? So he says, no, I'm not lending you because you didn't want to lend me. Nya, 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 nya. That's what? That's Nikima. That's an example of what? Taking revenge. Okay? Footnote 4. Look at footnote 4. One who refrains from doing someone a favor simply because the other person had wronged him in the past is guilty of what? Taking revenge.
Why is he guilty if you're supposed to? It says you're supposed to.
1 minute.
It says only in money matters.
1 minute. First of all, talking about Talmud Chacham, we have a lot to talk about over here. The Eizeh Netira, what's called bearing a grudge? One guy says to the other, lend me your hatchet or your lawnmower. And the other guy says, no, I don't want to do it. Get lost. The next day, the second guy said to the first guy, lend me your shirt or lend me your toaster oven or lend me what? Pound of sugar? Lend me your ears, right? So the other guy says, here, you can take it. I'm not like you. I'm not a lowlife like you. So he lends him, he gives him. But he says, I'm not a lowlife like you, that you didn't want to lend me. That is an example of what? Bearing a grudge. That's also forbidden. Look at note 5. He's guilty of bearing a grudge. Why? Because he remains mindful of the matter and did not erase it from what? From his thoughts. If someone is wronged, not only must he refrain from actively taking revenge, but he must also eliminate the matter from his mind. So how could you say that a Talmud Chacham has to what? Take revenge. It's against the Torah. Talmud Chacham is also Jewish, no? Okay. How do I know that? Let's see. Right? So the right side of the Gemara, 23a1, the Gemara challenges this answer, right? So you're saying that what? That the Isser is only what? In monetary matters. Then you're not allowed to what? Bear a grudge or take revenge. But if someone hurts you physically, then you're permitted, right, Avram? That's what we're saying, no? The Gemara challenges this answer. You have it, Avram, the right side? The tzara de gufalo. And is it not wrong to take revenge or bear a grudge in the case of personal suffering? You're saying that's allowed. V'tanya, we learned in the Braisa, hanelavin ve'eno olvin, those who suffer insult, but do not insult back in response, shomin cherpatan ve'eno mishivin, they hear themselves ranked out, disgraced, but they do not answer back in kind. Osin me'ahava usmechen b'yisurin, who perform God's will out of love and are happy even in suffering. Look at footnote what?
9.
Yeah. So anyway, let's go back to footnote 7. Footnote 7, you have that? The Gemara implies that if one was subjected to personal suffering, he was struck, cursed, like King David was, or otherwise humiliated, then he's permitted to what, Avraham? Then he's permitted to what? Take revenge and bear a grudge. Now, is this the halacha or not? Footnote 7, second paragraph. It is not clear, though, whether this is the accepted halacha. From Sefer Achinuch and Rambam, it seems that the Torah prohibition against taking revenge and bearing a grudge apply even when one has undergone what? Personal suffering. So it seems to contradict the Gemara over here, right? So Chofetz Chaim rules that since a Torah transgression is possibly involved here, one must adopt a strict position, Safek D'Oraita L'Chumra. Therefore, one is prohibited to take revenge or bear a grudge regardless of the nature of the wrong that one had suffered. In any event, the ideal course of behavior is to what? To refrain from exacting revenge and to remove all thoughts of the matter from one's heart. That's against a fellow Jew. Okay? B'nei Amecha. But anyway, back in the Gemara now. V'tzara de gufa lo. And is it not wrong to take revenge or bear a grudge in the case of personal suffering? For Tanya, learn the Braisa, Hanalovin ve'ein ovin, those who suffer insult but do not answer back. Shoymin cherpatan ve'eino meshivin, they hear their disgrace but they do not what? Reply. Osin mahava usmeichen v'yisurin. Alei and akosev aimer, the Pasuk says about them in the book of what? Shoftim. Regarding them, the Pasuk says, but those that love God shall be as the sun going forth in its might. It's a Pasuk, footnote 10. It's a Pasuk in the book of Shoftim. The Barais alludes to the Agada in Chulin, which relates that the moon was originally as great as the sun, but was reduced in size after what? Complaining that it was not fitting for two equally great luminaries to reign together. The sun, which did not respond to the moon's complaint, remained as it was, while the moon was what? Diminished. Similarly, those that suffer insult but do not respond will be as what? As the sun going forth in its might. They will emerge undiminished by their silence. Okay? So anyway, so we have a problem over here. Here you're telling me that a Talmud Chacham, if he doesn't take revenge and bear a grudge, he's not a Talmud Chacham. And you're saying there's a difference between what? Revenge on money or revenge on personal suffering, where revenge on personal suffering is what? Permitted, but it seems to say that even that's not permitted. So the Gemara answers on the right side, La'olam denaked le belibe. Rab Shimon means only that a Torah scholar, if a Torah scholar is insulted, should keep the matter in his mind and allow others to avenge his honor. He does not mean that the scholar himself should what? Make any response. So why is a Torah scholar permitted or even commanded to bear a grudge in his heart against someone that insulted him? Why is he different than a regular person? So please turn over. The Gemara challenges this answer as well. V'omar Rava, on the left side, Kol ha'mavri al midotav, anyone who relinquishes his measure of retribution. What does that mean? What? Doesn't take mavirin loy al kol pashav. Then the Bezin Shalmala, what? Forgives all of his sins. Mida keneged mida. This implies that one should relinquish even the idea of retribution. Right? So why is a Torah scholar different? Why is a Torah scholar have to take revenge? Because to insult a Torah scholar, you're insulting what? The Torah. Right? You're insulting the Torah. So it's not personal revenge. It's kavod HaTorah. When the Gemara said that a Torah scholar has to take revenge and bear a grudge like a snake, what's so special about a snake? The Talmud in Sota says a snake, a snake has no taste buds. A snake has no taste buds. Whatever he eats tastes like dirt. He has no hana from his food. The Talmud says that. So a Talmud Chacham has to take revenge like a snake. He's not supposed to get any personal hana from it. He represents the Torah. If you insult him, you're insulting the kavod HaTorah. You're insulting God. So he has to have a grudge not for his own personal hana. Like a snake, there's nothing in it for him. He has to feel the anguish of the Torah that was mocked and humiliated when he was humiliated, because a Talmud Chacham represents what? Kavod HaTorah and Kavod Shemayim. That's the idea of taking revenge like Hanachash. No personal hana, just Kavod Shemayim, just Kavod HaTorah. So anyway, the Talmud says here, Kol Amar al Midosav, anyone who relinquishes his measure of retribution, then what? Mida keneged mida. If you forgive someone when you don't have to, then God will automatically what? Forgive you, because mida keneged mida. Look at the footnote 12, please. You have in footnote 12? The word mavir occurs in a few passages of the Talmud. Means to pass over. Here the literal meaning is one who leaves his measure. That is, he does not calculate the exact measure of retribution that his attacker deserves. Rather, he drops the entire matter and goes on his way. So the Midas Hadin will act the same way with him. If someone insults you and you forgive him even when you don't have to, then God will forgive you even though you don't have to. He doesn't have to.
So this is a really good thing for Rosh Hashanah.
Right. But we have to talk, let's go over the source and we'll have to talk it out over here. So the Gemara answers, you see back in the text, the Gemara answers, the Maiv Sayale Mipayes. Rabbi refers to a case where the antagonist came to placate his victim, and the victim was indeed what? Placated. The victim then should forget the whole matter. You hear? So if one insults you, upsets you, does something bad to you, asks for forgiveness, one should not act cruelly by refusing to forgive him. But in the case where the antagonist did not ask for forgiveness, in that case, the victim is what? Allowed and even required, surely, if he's a Torah scholar, to what? To keep the matter in mind. Wow, to bear a grudge. So a regular person is what? Usher. But if a Torah scholar and he's insulted, then you shouldn't forgive the guy unless what? Apologizes. Right? So it's a little confusing, Ruvain. And where do we stand? So look at the summary, Rivka. See what it says, summary? Summary. Let's sum it up and then we can talk. Can we talk? Summary. One who was aggrieved in only a financial matter is what? Is biblically prohibited to take revenge or bear a grudge. What should he do, Shirley? Go to court. Don't forget it. Take him to Besdin. Take him to the police. Right? You cannot take the matter, be a vigilante. Someone stole from you. Right? In a financial matter, you're prohibited to take revenge. You have to go to the Besdin or to the court. He's obligated to remove all thoughts of hatred from his mind. Let the lawyers handle it. Let the police handle it. Right? That's on a financial matter. B, you see B? One who was subjected to what? To personal suffering is allowed to take revenge. Say what? Avram. One who was subjected to personal suffering is allowed to take revenge, but should refrain from taking advantage of this permit. The ideal approach is to what? Forget the whole matter. C, if the antagonist sincerely apologizes, it is proper to forgive him completely in all circumstances. Ideally, one should forgive him even if he does not apologize. So all the preceding obligations and ideals also apply to a Torah scholar, with one exception. If a Torah scholar is subjected to personal suffering, on top of the notes there, and the antagonist does not apologize, then he should not erase the matter from his mind. Rather, he should remember it, and when others seek to avenge the honor of the Torah scholar, he should not stop them. The commentators, however, note that even this exception, made in the case of a Torah scholar, is apparently contradicted in the Gemara in Megillah. The Daf Yomi Avram just started Megillah now, right? It is stated there that the Tanam Chanunya ben Akana, why did he live so long? Because before he went to bed each night, what would he do? He would forgive all those that insulted him, even if they didn't ask for mechila. Right? We have a custom like that on Shema and Almita. Don't we say that? We forgive everyone, whether they apologize or not. This practice was also followed by Mar Zutra. And you should be like Hillel, who dealt kindly with those who tried to provoke him. According to our Gemara, these Torah scholars should not have what? Ignored the personal slights to which they had been subjected. It's a chil Hashem. And if the antagonists had apologized, what was so great about their practice? We have a contradiction here. In view of this difficulty, the Ritva asserts that our Gemara refers only to religious matters, where the Torah scholar is required to what? To defend the honor of heaven. Otherwise, it is notorious for any person, including a Torah scholar, to forgive those who have harmed him, even if they what? Didn't apologize. So how does the Rambam, it seems very confusing. So the Rambam, you see the X there, Avram? There's an X there by the Rambam. The Rambam Hilchos Talmud Torah gives us guidelines. The Rambam distinguishes between a public and a private humiliation. If someone insults a Torah scholar in public, it will be a disgrace for the Torah scholar to forgive him without the guy, what? Apologizing. But if a Torah scholar suffers an insult in a private matter, he should forgive his antagonist regardless. Okay? So what do we come out over here? So when getting back to the Talmud on the sides 23a1, now we understand, from back on 23a1, she'ena nokem v'noter kenachash eno Talmud Chacham. Again, a nachash has no personal hana, right? So that when a Torah scholar takes revenge or bears a grudge, it's not for his benefit. He's defending what? Kavod Shemayim. He's defending what? God's honor. He gets no pleasure out of it, just like a Nachash Avram gets no pleasure from what? From the food that he eats. He has no taste buds. So here you have, again, fitting in with the Parsha of the week. Fitting in the Parsha of the week. Pinchas killed Zimri. Pinchas comes from Shevet Levi. Zimri comes from whom? Shevet Shimon. Shimon v'Levi Achim. All for one and one for all. Didn't they band together to wipe out the city of Shechem? The terrorist enclave 3,700 years ago. Nothing has changed in 3,700 years. They wiped out the city of Shechem when their sister was kidnapped. Right? They destroyed the whole city of Shechem, Avram, right? Shimon and Levi. So what happened? What happened that now Shimon turned against what? Levi turned against Shimon. What happened over here? Pinchas comes from Levi. And he struck dead Zimri from Shimon. What happened to the camaraderie? Shimon and Levi Achim. Right? When they took revenge for their kidnapped and raped sister, they wiped out the whole city. What happened? So the Meforshim say the same idea, Rivka. Levi acted not for personal revenge, to defend the family honor. He acted, it's a disgrace for HaKadosh Baruch Hu that a Jewish person should be kidnapped and raped and murdered. It's a chil Hashem. Can't rest. Levi acted, Avraham l'kavod Shemayim. Shimon acted, hey, it reflects bad on me. I'll show you. So therefore, they split. Levi remained true to Hashem, the true kanoi, because his original act of kanois, Rabbi Yaakov Goldman, was what? L'shem Shemayim. Pinchas. But back in Levi, and Pinchas carried that from his grandfather Levi. Shimon acted for personal interest, personal vendetta. The family was shamed, the family honor. me, and therefore when it felt good, Shimon became what? Began to commit harlotry, immorality with the daughters of Nob. It's all about me. Shimon, it's all about me. So when it suits me, I'll act for God. Right? When it doesn't suit me, I'll act for myself. So Shimon degenerated into the wild Moabite women. Levi's, Abraham's original kanois wasn't what's in it for me, what's in it for God. L'shem Shemayim. And therefore, Levi produced a Pinchas. Pinchas was a kanoi. He acted like a Nachash. Nothing in it for himself. God testified that it was only what? L'shem Shemayim. Kavod Shemayim, right? So, getting back to over here, a Talmud Chacham who's insulted, what the Rambam says, if he's insulted publicly, then he's not permitted to what? To forgive. Because then the Torah is insulted. But if a Torah scholar suffers an insult in private, he should what? Forgive his okay? Now, the Sefer Chinuch that I read to you about taking the Kama, that you're not allowed to take the Kama against a fellow Jew, it all comes from Hashem. But the Sefer Chinuch also, there's a lav in the Torah, Shloi lahonot b'dvorim. That what? That you're not allowed to be mitzayer somebody with words. You're not allowed to rank out someone, upset him, humiliate him, mock him. So the Chinuch says something amazing. This is in Mitzvah Shin Lamed Ches. Sefer Chinuch Shloi lahonot. Mitzvah Reish Mem Aleph, he says, you're not allowed to take revenge. If someone does something bad to you, you're not allowed to take revenge. In Mitzvah Shin Lamed Ches, the mitzvah not to hurt someone with words, says the Chinuch as follows: Ulam lefi hadomeh, ein b'mashma, she'im bo Yisrael echad, a Jew comes, v'hitchil v'yishia letzar chaver b'dvarim aroim. Someone comes and he begins to rank you out. He's mitzayah you. He calls you names that you shouldn't answer back. Is that possible? It's impossible for a human being to be what? Like a stone. Someone ranks you out, curses you out. It's impossible that you should be like a stone and what? And not to answer back. If you keep quiet, in Judaism, Rabbi Yaakov, we say, what do we say? Shtika kaidah. If someone gives you an argument and you don't answer back, it means what?
You're agreeing.
You agree. So someone says you're a lowlife, no good fornicator, an adulterer, a no good bum, a ganif, and you remain quiet, according to halacha, you are agreeing with him. What are you, nuts? You have to hold your tongue? You hear what he's saying? Shtika kaidah. That's what you're supposed to do. Sit back and take it. You agree that you're a no good bum. Ube'emet, says the Chinuch, a mitzvah shin lamed ches, ube'emet, loy tipza ha-Torah, lios adam ke'even shotek. The Torah didn't command that I should be like what? A stone that has no feelings. That I should take insults from someone like I take blessings from someone. How do I know that you're not supposed to keep quiet when someone is insulting you? How do I know? Shemuta lanu lanos ksil lefi adomeh. You are permitted, perhaps even obligated, to answer a fool to shut his mouth. Ma shehitra haTorah haba b'machteres lahagdim lahargo. We know there's a law in the Torah, Parshas Mishpatim, if someone is breaking into your home. Right? What are you supposed to do? Make him a cup of coffee. Right? Haba lahargacha, hashkem lahargo. The Torah learns out that what? That someone is out to kill you. Get up and kill him. Don't wait until he launches the rocket. Kill him before he gets a chance to launch the rocket. The Torah commanded us, if someone is breaking into your home, you don't ask him whether he's coming to kill you or not. You get up and kill him. She'ein safek. What? If you find yourself in jeopardy, ein safek shloinis chayva adam lisba nazikim yad chavero. There's no doubt that a person is not obligated to suffer damage from his friend. Ki yesh lonu reshut li'notzel miyado. We have an obligation to rescue ourselves, to protect ourselves from his hands, just like from his punches. We have to protect ourselves from his foul mouth. You hear? So that's not called revenge. So now I'm a little confused here. Beautiful, Michael. I'm glad you came today. Michael, he just made it. While a person is doing it to you, that's not called revenge. That's called what, Rabbi Yaakov Goldman? That's called self-defense. While it's happening to you, whether he's cursing you out or attacking you, then you're not allowed to be quiet. Because that's not revenge, Avram. That's called what? Self-defense. Habol lahargacha hashkem lahargo. Someone is coming to what? Kill you? Killing me softly with words. Killing me softly with words. Words can kill. Character assassination. While it's happening, Nechama, you're not permitted to stand there like a shmata. You're supposed to protect yourself, says the chinuch. When is it Nechama? After the fact. It's done. It's finished. Right? Afterwards, you cannot take personal revenge. You have to go to the police or to the IDF or to the Supreme Court. While it's happening, that's not called revenge, Rabbi Yaakov. That's called what? Self-defense. And Judaism stands on self-defense. After the fact, the damage has already been done, Avram, then to go and curse him out or to punch him back afterwards. While it's happening, you have to punch him back. It's already done, then to punch him back or what? Curse him back afterwards. That's not called self-defense, Rabbi Aaron. That's called what? Nekama. That you're not permitted to do, but you have to go to the authorities, whether it's to the IDF or what, or to the police or whatever. Okay? So that's the difference. In real time, it's not revenge, it's self-defense. After the fact, it becomes nekama. You're not permitted to do that against a fellow Jew. You have to go to the authorities. Yes?
What if you know no matter what you say?
What?
What if you know no matter what you say to him, it's not only not going to stop him, he's going to get worse and worse.
So you just sit there like a shmata and let him curse you out? So the chinuch says over here, if you keep quiet, it's like you admit what he's saying. Right? Kemoida, and you're not supposed to take it, says the chinuch. What? 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 King David did take it. King David took it, so that's why he got the regular Revi. Lifnei mishur sadin. King David acted lifnei mishur. So while it's happening, King David had a right to punch the guy out. But he was mevater. He did lifnei mishur sadin, and therefore the Zohar says he became the regular Revi of the Meiser Merkava at that time. Because then he had a right. While it's happening, he had a right to defend himself, and he didn't. And that was lifnei mishur sadin. More than the what? Ruben.
I think he was asking in the back, can you do something, you can fight back, but can you do something that doesn't allow it to, I hate to use this word today, but to escalate the situation in some way? Can you do something that makes it better in some side?
Against a fellow Jew, you mean?
Fight back, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a fellow Jew, of course. So I'll tell you with a true story. The Abarbanel was very close to the King of Spain, right? He was a finance minister. And once the King of Spain and the Abarbanel are walking, taking a walk, and this Jew begins to curse out the Abarbanel. He keeps to curse him out. You lackey, you sold your soul to the king. You're a court Jew. You court Jew, you. Huh? So the king was shocked. He says, in 3 days, I want you to have this man's tongue cut out and bring him back to me on the third day with his tongue cut out. How dare he curse out my finance minister? What happened? 3 days later, the Barbanel brings this Jew to the to the king. The king opens his mouth and he says, hey, he still has his tongue. You didn't follow my orders to cut out your tongue, Abarbanel. Right? So the Abarbanel says, well, you told me to cut out his tongue. In the 3 days, what did I do? I was Matthias him. I showed him I'm not a lackey, I'm not a court Jew. I reasoned with him. I cut out his tongue. Now, instead of cursing me, he praises me. So I did cut out his tongue. Not literally, but what? Figuratively. You have to be a Barbanel to do that. Finance minister, right? He was allowed to stay during the Spanish Inquisition, but he didn't, right? Queen Isabella said she had a dream that J.C. Penney told her that all the Jews must be expelled except you. But he didn't take it. He led on Tisha B'Av. He led the Yidden, 1492 on Tisha B'Av. He led hundreds of thousands of Jews across the Spanish border to Portugal. So anyway, did he cut out his tongue? No. What? Not literally, but figuratively. He reasoned with him. He showed him that I'm not as bad as you think. And now instead of cursing me, he what? He blesses me. So Kingi, I did follow your instructions. Get it? So I hear what you're saying. Okay, so the Barbanel, good question. So he's like David HaMelech, you're saying. He was mevater completely. Lifnim Yeshua Sadin. That's if someone is cursing you, then you're permitted to be mevater, right, Ruvain? Right. But if someone is punching you out, are you allowed to sit there and take it? No. Because he can kill you.
We don't have turn the other cheek.
No, that's the wrong religion. Right?
Rabbi?
Haba lahargacha, hashkem lahargo. Even a fellow Jew is coming to kill you. You don't wait, right, until he swings the bat. You get up and kill him first. Yes?
At the end of David HaMelech's life, right before Shlomo becomes king, he tells Shlomo to kill Shimi ben Gera. He tells him that.
Reuven's cooking with gas. Got to come more often.
So the question is, it's a contradiction.
One minute,
He
Reuven.
tells him to kill him.
Reuven.
Yes. He tells it to Shlomo.
1 minute.
Yeah.
Rashi asks your question. Rashi says something amazing. You know, Rashi's so profound. Why did King David tell Shlomo to kill Shimi Geber? Says, because if he dies with his boots on, he'll go to Gehenna. If he dies in an old age home, naturally he's going to go to Gehenna. So he ordered him to have him executed by the court. See, if it's a court does it, it's not revenge. Revenge is if I do it myself. If the Bezdin does it, Avram, it's not called the Kama, it's called what? Mishpat. Look in Devorim Aleph. It says clearly, if I do it after the fact, that's revenge. If Bezdin does it, it's not revenge, it's called what, Ruvain? Mishpat, they have to do it. So Rashi says, amazing. Give a look at the Rashi there. Rashi said, Shimi ben Gera, if you die with your boots on, and after that going to Gehenna, Morid b'malchus, you have no share in the world to come. If he's put on trial by Bezdin, Shlomo Melech had him put on trial, and Bezdin executed him, then his death is a kapara.
And he goes to Gan Eden.
He goes to Gan Eden.
Wow.
That's right.
David was concerned about him going
Yes, David was concerned that he doesn't want him to go to Gehenna. That's right. So you can't study Tanakh without Rashi. Right? It looks like revenge, but it's not. He told Shlomo HaMelech Nechama to put him on trial. If Bezdin punishes him, that's not revenge. That's called what? Justice. Bezdin is obligated to do that. If you let the guy die with his boots on, remember that expression? With his boots on? Gunsmoke. He's going to go to Gehenna and be murdered by Malchus. I don't want that, says King David. I want to save his soul, so if he's executed by the court, he gets a kapara, and he goes straight Nechama to what? The Gan Eden.
He was liable. He was liable for
Murder Malchus.
So as a result,
Right? So you see,
he had to pay the penalty.
you cannot study Tanakh without Rashi. Wow. Rashi stands for Rabban Shel Yisrael.
David loved every Jew, even a Jew who cursed him.
Even a Jew who cursed him. That's why he is the regal Revi. Therefore, he's the Melech HaMashiach. Right? Hanicholo v'yikalel ki omer lo Hashem. But Shimi ben Gera is chayiv mita anyway, right? For cursing the king, you're chayiv mita. That's a capital punishment. If he dies naturally, he's going to go to Gehenna. If he's punished by the court, he'll go to Gan Eden. Okay? Now.
Does that mean that killers that are killed by the court?
What?
Killers who were sentenced to be killed
Right.
by the court.
Right.
Where did they go?
What do you mean? We're talking about a Jewish killer that's sentenced by the court. If he is executed, then that's a kapara for him. That's a kapara for him. In fact, if you look in Tractate Sanhedrin, before a person was executed by the court, he had to confess, may my death be my kapara. I remember that? May my death be my kapara. So being punished by the court is a kapara for a Jewish criminal. That's a kapara for him. Okay? So getting back to the Sefer Chinuch Shaloi Linkom, that what? That a person is not allowed to take revenge. Because whatever happens to a person, it's all ordained by God. Didn't the Chinuch say that in Reish Mem Aleph? So if that's the case, when Cain killed Hevel, remember what Cain said? It's not my job to protect my brother. You run the world. If you wanted Hevel to be alive, he'd still be alive. Nothing happens without you, God. It's not my job to protect him. It's your job. And if I killed him, obviously what? You wanted him dead. You hear what he said? So why am I at fault? So what's the answer?
People have free will.
People have free will. God wanted Hevel dead. He could die in a skiing accident. Remember Sonny Bono? Sonny on chair, right into a tree. God wanted Hevel dead. He would die in a skiing accident. You killed him. You're a murderer. And don't mix in my business, God said. It's written in Rosh Hashanah, Hevel has to die. It doesn't say you had to kill him. You're a free agent. You didn't have to kill him. If you killed him, you're guilty and you're going to be punished. Because every person's a free agent, right? So this is what the Rabbeinu Yonah, the Rambam, Rabbeinu Bachai, they all say that what? That my free will can only affect me, not the one I hurt. If I choose not to, that guy would get the tsar through another shliach. But if I do it, I'm punished because I'm a free agent. I didn't have to deliver that package. I have a free agent. There are many agents out there, right? So God wants to punish someone. He can send Hurricane Katrina, or he can send whatever. If I do it, like Cain says, he's not off the hook. You can't say, God, I'm doing your will. Hevel was supposed to die through a skiing accident. You killed him, and therefore you what? You're going to be punished, right? Very interesting, right? The Talmud Nechulin, page 7 says, Ein nokvin etzboya milmata, el mekain machrizan olav milmala. We would say, Ruvain in English, a person does not stub his toe down here unless what? HaKadosh Baruch Hu ordained that in this and this day, this and this hour, the person will what? Will stub his toe. So it all comes from Hashem, but a person's a free agent, and therefore he is responsible for right or wrong, right? So again, the guidelines, it's clear. When is it revenge and when is it self-defense? Rabbi Yaakov. While it's happening, it's self-defense. You're not supposed to sit and take it. After the fact, then it becomes revenge. Then what are you supposed to do? Go to the court or to the police or to the IDF, right? And then then it's not called revenge. Then it's called what? Justice. Then it's called mishpat. Right? What about Pinchas?
In that moment, only that moment he could do it.
Pinchas, right? Don't try this at home. Pinchas, he saved the Jewish people from a deadly plague. So how come God did not make him the leader of the Jewish people, Sharona? Who's more qualified than him? If it wasn't for him, the plague would have wiped out the Yidden. Read the Parsha, Bamidbar 25. God said if it wasn't for him, the Jewish people would have been destroyed, Avram, by a plague. So he saved the Jewish people. Who's more qualified than him, Nechama, to be what? The leader. And yet God rejected him.
Wait, didn't he
Why did God reject him?
Didn't he become
Yeshua ben Nun
Kohen
became the leader, but not him.
Kohen Gadol after Elazar?
Okay.
He
But
was
why
a-
didn't he become the leader?
Kohen Gadol is a leader.
No, Yeshua ben Nun is the leader.
But Kohen Gadol is a big, big
Okay, he
person.
became the Kohen Gadol, but he didn't become the leader because a leader cannot be a kanoi.
That's right.
Yeshua ben Nun was a mild-mannered, easygoing, right? To be a leader, you can't be a kanoi. It just doesn't work.
You can ask the same question about Kalev. Why didn't Kalev become a leader?
Because,
He was a tzaddik.
that's right. Why didn't he become the leader?
Kalev should have been
Good
the leader
question.
also.
Why did God choose Yeshua?
They should have been Kalev and
So
Yoshua.
Rashi explains that he had the savlanut to be sovel all of the what? The cantankerous, not the right word, the cantankerous of all the Jewish people with their different ideas. He was able to sovel that. And Kalev couldn't, and Pinchas couldn't. You have to be a person to be so mild-mannered and yet be a leader. It's like walking a tightrope. Yeshua had it, and Pinchas and Kalev didn't. Moshe Rabbeinu wanted his own son to take over, remember?
Wasn't Moshe Kanoi?
What?
Wasn't Moshe Kanoi?
Why didn't Moshe kill Zimri? Why didn't Moshe kill
He
Zimri?
temporarily forgot the halacha.
Why did he forget the halacha? He
Why?
forgot the halacha. He forgot the
He
halacha.
was very upset.
So then Pinchas reminded him. So then why didn't he do it? After Pinchas reminded him, you remembered, you do it. Because I can't do it. A leader can't do it. To be a leader, you can't be a kanoi. So he handed off to whom? To Pinchas. What?
Moshe demonstrated in other situations that he was a Kanoi. What about at the rock, when he hit the rock?
He
No.
killed the Egyptian.
What about killing the Egyptian?
He killed the Egyptian.
But that was self-defense. A Yid was being beaten to death. Reuven.
But he
A
acted.
Yid was being beaten to death. So that mitzvah had a din like a rodef. So you have to kill the rodef to save the nirdaf. That was an act of self-defense, doctor, right? That wasn't the kama. He was beating a Jew to death. So that's an act of hatzalah, Abraham. The act of hatzalah, not the kama. Hatzalah. Right? Hatzalah. Don't stand by the blood of your friend, right?
So you say Kanoi cannot be a leader.
Kanoi can't be a leader. So he's a kanoi, and he gets the Kohen Gadol, but he can't be a leader. Can't be a leader. Yes?
We say that Yahweh is good.
Right.
And as we read in yesterday's Haftarah,
Right.
and Yahweh says, that the Am Israel,
They left your bris.
So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says,
You're wrong. You'll have to go to every bris to testify that you were wrong.
yeah.
You know what a song of this, hello darkness, my old friend.
I'm gonna go.
The sign of silence, this of Torah. Where was God found? Not in the earthquake, not in the Hurricane Katrina. God was called the Mama Daka. That's the sound of silence. That's Simon's of Torah, his Bar Mitzvah Parsha. Yeah, Simon and Garfunkel.
We read it yesterday.
That was Bar Mitzvah Parsha yesterday.
Yeah.
That sound of silence, called the Mama Daka. God is not found in thunder and lightning. God is found in a sound of silence. Right? If you want to reach someone, if you yell at him, he'll be turned off the derech. Speak to him softly and gently, and you'll bring him back to the derech. That's what God taught Eliyahu Hanavi. You're too angry.
So that's what
Dirchavan benachat nishmo.
that's what Moshe
Benachat.
Moshe did at the
That's why Moshe lost his job, the morale says. When he said, Shimon HaMorim, he yelled at the Yidden. He called them rebels. Sharona, God said, you're fired. The morale says this. When he yelled at the Yidden and he called them rebels, God said, you're fired. That's it. And when Eliyahu Hanavi said, the Yidden are no good, they left your bris, right? God said, you're fired. And what's your punishment? He's going to have to go to every bris
And every Seder.
and every Seder to prove that he was wrong. The Yidden didn't forsake the bris. They never forsake the bris. You misspoke, Eliyahu. It's going to cost you. Every bris you're going to have to go to, drink all that schnapps. Every bris. What?
What did he say? What did Eliyahu say?
He said, Ki ozru b'sechel Yisrael. They have abandoned your bris, God. It wasn't true.
Where did he say this?
In the Haftarah we read yesterday, yesterday's Haftarah, he says it twice, not once. The Yidden have abandoned your bris. So God fired him, says Rashi, when he said that. He got fired. He had to get a replacement, Elisha. Hope he had an IRA. And also, as a punishment, he has to go to every bris to prove that he was wrong. The Yidden did not abandon the bris, yes?
How was revenge different with a non-Jew?
What?
How was revenge different with a non-Jew?
Revenge different with a non-Jew. Let the IDF do it. Let the IDF do it. This week's Parsha, no vigilante. This week's Parsha. The Parsha we're going to read this Shabbos. Bamidbar chapter 31, God says, Nekol nikmas b'nei Yisrael, who? Anoshim l'tzava. What does God have to add that? Who takes revenge for the Jewish people's spilled blood? Anoshim l'tzava. And Rashi says that tzadikim. So it says clearly that no vigilantism has to be anshe tzava. This week's Parsha, no coinky dinky, the Parsha always speaks to what? Current events. Thank you.
For more of Rabbi Sprecher's teachings, visit rabbisprecher.com.